see. Well, here we are. Here we are. And I want to share a few words about how I met Jessica. So Jessica and I would go to the same metaphysics university, and we basically, it was fascinating because we were driving in a car from Atlanta to a town, very small town in Georgia. And we started talking, and the conversation went around pretty much everything in the hour or 2 hours that we've shared. And I remember having conversations about women's rights and just kind of day-to-day things and sex. Also, we talked about sex. We talked about business. We talked about spirituality, whatnot. So it was just a very full and alive conversation. And then following that class that we've taken, we just realized that we have some common interests and decided to collaborate and put a retreat together. The Mastermind that is coming up on January 20th in Arizona, where apparently it's freezing. I thought that I'm gonna be wearing bikini, but Jessica has just disappointed me on my aspirations for bikini. So I would love to ask you this question, and because this is something that you've shared with me this morning when we just jumped on the call. You said you meditated and you asked the universe, you asked spirit to share, what do women who join this mastermind, what do they get? What is it that we want to bring for them?
I love that. Yeah, and this morning as I was sharing it, I was driving, and as I'm sitting here in this seat, I can feel myself even moved by this. I'm feeling myself being moved to tears by the power of what's coming through in this mastermind, the transformation that's coming through. And specifically, we're focused on 3 things within this mastermind. And the first is this divine purpose. You have come here for a much greater purpose than what you are serving now. And in your heart, you know that. In your heart, you know that you are called to serve something that probably scares you a little. And in this mastermind, you're going to gain clarity on what that is. And that's the first thing, is divine purpose. The second thing is trust. And I'm looking down at my notes here because it was a beautiful download this morning for what to bring forth, and it keeps coming. If you're planning on joining this, if you've already registered, or if you're thinking about it, believe me, we are in the energy of supporting you. I've already pulled cards and doing breath work, all of the things, meditation. And so the second thing is trust. And this is the message that came through this morning as I was listening to beautiful music and being in the space of meditation. Stop fighting the fight that's already been won. You've got to trust in the divine wisdom that exists within you. Trust in the love that you are. Trust in the message that you're bringing forth. Trust in your mission. This is the conviction that we will work through and work on and be in this mastermind. And the third is sharing that, is bringing that divine purpose and that divine message into the world so that we can bring forth what we have been called to bring forth. And in that third space of sharing, we're going to work through some of the fears that come up. Because if we're really being honest with ourselves, if we're really serving our highest divine purpose, then there will be fear. Fear will come up. And whether it's from this life or from another, whether it's from this moment or from childhood, whether it's from this moment or from when you had an incident that didn't work out, we're working through that. So within this retreat, we'll work on divine purpose, we'll work on trust, and we'll work on sharing that message in a way that feels in alignment to your soul.
So I'm curious, because there are three messages, and I absolutely agree with you about all of those 3. And I want to ask you about fear. And this is what I have just observed with even our collaboration and how we came together in creating this mastermind. Fear came up pretty much every single time, right? And I love the way you actually name the fear. So instead of suppressing the fear and saying, okay, it's not there, I'm all this like perfect lady who just figured it all out. The way when we were working on the curriculum, right? And thinking, okay, this is what we want to do with women who join. You are saying, I just want to acknowledge that I have fear of blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is fascinating because you're working with fear very intimately. You're acknowledging it, you are naming it, and then you're choosing in every single moment to name it and then say, okay, I see you and I choose what is in my highest potential. I choose love. I choose my highest calling.
I choose
And
trust.
it's a practice. It's an ongoing practice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Masha. And this morning when we were talking and I was saying that what's another word for faith? And you said trust. And that is truly it. When the fears come up, it's not that I don't feel a fear inside of me. That's not it. It's that I trust in my divine mission and purpose so deeply that I am willing to work with my fear and not push through, but continue and allow that fear to come on board to the mission, to the purpose, to serve the highest good. Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So we have the purpose, trust, and sharing the message. I actually want to ask you a little bit more about the last part about sharing the message, because for me on my personal journey, I've been meditating now for over a decade, and often I get almost every morning I get some intuitive insights and intuitive guidance about the next steps in my life. And actually today, one of the messages for the day was to do everything with joy, to do everything that I do with joy. And because I do have a full list for the day, but instead of just being caught in my head and thinking of, oh, I have to kind of push through it, how can I come to the present moment and enjoy everything that I'm doing? So, but sharing the message requires a very different level of courage and trust. Because one thing is when you're sitting on the meditation cushion, right, and you get this intuitive downloads, and then you have to apply them to your day or to your life or within your family. But another thing is to actually show up with those messages and share them in a context of work, because then you are playing on a larger platform. You are being vulnerable. You are actually opening yourself to different opinions and sometimes criticism and judgment, and you are paving the way, right? So I'm curious how this mastermind is going to help with helping to share this message, because that's what divine purpose is, right? It's not enough to know it. You have to share it and you have to walk the talk.
Absolutely. So I'm just going back to what came through this morning. And when we share our message, what I would say is that if you are not scared or have some sort of fear in sharing your message, then is your dream big enough, or are you being vulnerable enough? Are you sharing what your heart truly desires? Because if you're sharing what your heart truly desires, that's scary, because you're opening yourself up to a whole new level of trust. And this trust is what's crucial. And that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to be going within, inside to the inner self, to gain that wisdom and knowledge, and then do the healing work that's required to bring those parts of us on board so that we can share our message in a way that resonates with our soul. And also, let's be real, when the fear comes up, can work through it.
That sounds great.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Love it. So I'm so excited because we are in community. Like, that's one of the greatest things about this, is being in this community of women who uplift each other, who empower each other, who are inspired by each other. And I know that for you and I, that's extremely, extremely important. And we've both been in different realms, right? You have a PhD, you've been in academia. I was an electrical engineer for 15 years and getting my master's. So there's these different realms of life in which there can be some sort of competition, right? Or this comparison, as opposed to community. So what are your thoughts, and how much are you loving being in community and collaboration as opposed to competition?
It's a choice for me. It's a big choice. I feel this past year has brought me some life experiences where I have truly experienced what it means to be in community where people support each other rather than compete. I've had another collaborations that I'm still involved in, and working with you and Alessandra has been a huge blessing because I feel uplifted, I feel seen, and I feel that, I mean, I also feel like both of you are kicking my ass a little bit, to be honest, because, you know, you are not supporting my smallness. You're not supporting you. It's not the kind of community where, oh, we'll just love you. And you do love me the way I am, but because this is what I give to myself, just the love and acceptance. But you're like, no, step up, go to the next level, step up. And I think this is what I'm really looking for from this community. You know, one of it is, of course, the safe space, because I've always felt safe to express myself and in the way that maybe I think differently from you or from Alessandra, and bring my experience and bring my background into the conversation. But then I also feel that it's not, it's stretching me, which I love the feeling of being stretched. You know, I am in many ways a high achiever, and I always push my own boundaries and push what is possible for me. And that is inspiring. So I look forward to this community being both supportive, but also stretching at the same time, because the goal for us is not to continue playing small, but to actually stretch and find our edges and then break those edges and then find the new edges and break them again and keep stretching.
Absolutely. And more than, so we have that safe space, that container, but even more than that, we have a brave space, right?
It's a brave space. Yes.
Because bravery takes courage.
Yes.
And that's what's called for when we're serving our divine mission and divine purpose. I love it. You're not gonna walk in, PS, just for all of those out there, you're not walking into this retreat, into our first call of the mastermind and saying what you do in your business. That's not what this mastermind's about. This is about who you are and who you are becoming and the mission you are called here to serve. So don't even prepare what you do. We love what you do, and that serves a purpose. Actually, that's a really good point that we need to touch. Your divine mission and purpose is so much greater, and you know it. And what you're doing today also serves a purpose. And we'll be working with that in the mastermind. Working with what you are doing today is important. You may have a choice right now in your life to go serve your divine purpose or what you feel is your divine purpose, or maybe take a different route that's necessary for your divine purpose to evolve. And we're going to be working through that. We're going to be in the energy of that, because there's a purpose for every path in your life.
I mean, that reminds me that no journey is linear, right? And sometimes we detour, and sometimes we have to maybe learn something else. I mean, I remember myself, I think it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was so clearly on a spiritual path, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be a spiritual teacher. And then I was continuously getting messages about learn about business, go study business, go study business. And so 5 years ago, it did not make any sense to me why I had to learn business, but that I kept learning and learning and learning. And it felt to me at the time, as I stepped on that path, that it was taking me away from spirituality. But I think part of my mission, part of my purpose is to merge the two so that they're not drastically different. It's not one or the other, but how they can be both in alignment and in congruency. And I know that for you, business is also a big aspect of how can we be very practical and business oriented and human, right? Because sometimes spirituality can take us on the path of, oh, let's just meditate all day and do yoga all day and, contemplate and philosophize. But what I really loved about working with you, and I think this is what I appreciate about myself as well, is that both of us have the practical side and then the highly spiritual side.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when we meet and we get together, there are conversations about the website and the design and how we're going to do like and landing pages. So it's very, very practical. It's very, very grounded in the 3D and the being a human and being a businesswoman. And at the same time, we're channeling as a part of this collaboration. We are meditating, we're manifesting. So it's kind of applying everything, all the tools that are available to bring those two aspects together. And I think this is a very special, it's going to be a very, very special mastermind in that, even in that perspective.
Absolutely. Yes. It's that union between the two worlds, right? That's what we're tapping into. And
yes,
I love that you said that, because yes, we are channeling and we are creating websites all at the same time.
And using ChatGPT
yes.
and creating a website and like thinking, so it's like it has very, very grounded in the practicalities of running a business, but it's also highly, like, at the same time we're working with astral planes and downloads and all of this stuff. So it's the combination of both.
Yeah. And also, if Alessandra was here, she would say, and money.
And
so
money.
We need to make sure that we're bringing in Alessandra's energy as well. And so it's about the impact that we're having through the messages that we're sharing, through the divine messages that we're receiving to share, and also being taken care of in this material plane through money, right?
Yes.
So we have to honor that as well.
I remember the last conversation when the three of us met and we said, okay, how is this mastermind unique? Why is it different from anything else that exists out there? And we said, okay, it's fun, it's collaborative, highly collaborative, it's practical and spiritual. And then Alessandra added, and it's about success. It's not just all of those things and fun and creativity and spirituality, but it's also about grounded success and results.
Yes. Because let's be real, we came here to serve and to share. And in that serving and in that sharing, we will be taken care of mentally, emotionally, physically, financially.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. This has been so fun. Oh my gosh. Is there anything else that's coming up for you?
I think maybe if you have any final thoughts, I'm curious, any final messages that you feel you want to share from your heart for those women who are thinking of potentially joining this mastermind?
Yeah. What I would say is that if you're thinking about joining this mastermind and there's a part of you that's excited and a part of you that's scared, then you're on the exact right path.
I love that. Acknowledging both.
Come join us. This is going to be fun. It's going to be transformative. It's going to be deep healing work. It's going to be expansive. It's going to be about money. It's going to be about success. It's going to be about business. But ultimately, it's about serving your divine purpose.
Beautiful.
How about you? Any final thoughts? Tap in.
I feel the final thought for me is about the beauty of intimacy and being supported, because I feel on a very practical level that there is a very high ratio of us to every person who will join, because we have three space holders, 3 facilitators, and we are aiming for a small group of women. And I feel excited about the level of support, care, and guidance that everyone will receive, because I personally wish that I've had something like this myself a few years ago.
Yes, absolutely. And not only do we have 3 facilitators who are holding the space for the healing, we also have 2 other people who are coming in. Alex, who's doing the photography and who's doing the branding and things of that nature, and Christina, who's taking care of all of the analytics. So it's not like as the facilitators, as 3 are also going to be having to take care of other things. Just the 3 of us are focused on your growth, your evolution, your purpose, your mission, while we are also supported. There's so much support in this space. It's incredible.
I'm excited.
Love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining this morning. And if you want to find more details, make sure to check our stories or our posts because we have more information about the upcoming mastermind, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.